Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you're having a great day. Today we have a very special mission ahead of us. We're going to have an action-packed episode and we are going to take some steps towards preparing to fight the Ender Dragon. This is it. This is the beginning of endgame Minecraft, and it seems weird considering that as far as building goes in this world, we have done fairly little. We've got a house that we can use as a base, we've got this barn for our animals, we've got a few kind of stations around the world, we've got the fishing shack, we've got our village that's been roped in and secured, and we don't really have a huge amount of other stuff that we've done. But like I said in the last episode, we are going to convert this series into more of a project-focused series after we've got a few other things taken care of, and the Ender Dragon fight is a big deal. The Ender Dragon fight allows us to access the End whenever we want to. It allows us to get to the outer islands of the End, where we can acquire some very precious items, which are going to be very helpful in the future of our world. And it's going to be a bit of a milestone in our Minecraft career. We are going to turn from the average hack and slash mob fighting overworld shenanigans through the Nether with all of its dangers and pitfalls and lava and fire, and we're going to go to the End and we are going to slay a dragon for the first time. So before we do that, there are a lot of things we have to prepare. First of all, we need to make sure that our armor and tools are up to scratch. Now, people have fought the Ender Dragon with any amount of armor before. They've had leather armor, you've had fully enchanted diamond stuff and shields and swords, and it's possible to fight the Ender Dragon with beds, believe it or not, and that is something we will be covering in a future episode. But let me just point out that beds are a little bit more volatile in the Nether and the End than they are in the overworld, because here is something that we should actually probably explain in person. So I'm going to take a little bit of red wool and I'm going to take this to the Nether and we're going to blow up a bed, folks. Here we are in the Nether with a bed, and I'm going to find a nice open, empty, flat, and ultimately fairly large area of land, because I don't want to end up doing this and then having no solid ground below me. But believe me, this is actually quite an effective way of doing some demolition here in the Nether, and it's going to be something that applies in the End as well, because you may notice that as we travel through the Nether, you can't really tell what time of day it is in the overworld. There is no sky to be seen here, and that is because both the Nether and the End, the final dimension of Minecraft, do not have a day and night cycle, which means that you cannot set your spawn in either of these two dimensions, because normally setting your spawn, sleeping in a bed, makes it skip through the night and makes it daytime again. Naturally, if you're in the Nether or the End, that doesn't happen because there is no day or night. Therefore, beds do something a little bit peculiar, and I'm going to get, let's say, over here. I think over here is probably far enough away from anything that's going to cause us too much harm. I've also brought a little bit of cobblestone that I'm going to lay down as a blast shield and make sure that I can right-click this bed over here, because it's going to do a bit of damage to the surroundings. Let me show you. This right here is what happens when you right-click on a bed in the Nether or the End. It explodes. It explodes quite violently. And that is a lot of fire, and we're actually right close to a lava pit, so it's a good thing we didn't go any further. But that is what happens to beds in the Nether or the End. I don't know if anybody will accidentally have stumbled upon this if they've been following along with this series, just because I haven't explained that yet, but there you go. That is what happens if you try and right-click on a bed in the Nether or the End. In fact, I think some of that fire over there might actually have been caused by this explosion. So, as you can see, it is enormously volatile, and it's super bad in the Nether because obviously the netherrack is not very blast proof at all, but the actual fact is that you can use beds in the End using that mechanic to explode the dragon when it swoops down to attack you. It's very, very difficult though. That's not something that you necessarily want to do, but I'm saying it's an option, right? It's an option for if you want to do the dragon fight in a slightly different way. Oh, hello! Here we go, let's play a little bit of Ghast baseball while we're here. I might have to resort to the bow and arrow method, but one of the reasons I'm not using my bow right now, even though I prefer using the bow when I'm playing Ghast tennis, there we go, right in the kisser, hey! And of course all of the drops go in lava. Story of my life. Well, the reason I'm not fighting the Ghasts with my bow and arrow is because right now I need to start stockpiling projectiles. I need to start stockpiling arrows and other things like that. Eggs might be included in that. Snowballs are also a projectile we could use, so I might gather a few of each, and we can use those in the End Dragon fight, because yes, even throwing snowballs and eggs can be effective against the dragon, although they don't actually do damage to the dragon itself. More on that later. But given that we are going to be fighting the dragon with bows and arrows, I feel like breeding up some chickens so we can get some feathers to craft arrows would probably be a good idea. Normally, by this point in a survival world, I've usually found, or at least tried to find, a skeleton spawner, which will allow us to farm bows and arrows from skeletons, but in this world I have not. I've only found zombie spawners and spider spawners, neither of which are going to help us in crafting arrows or acquiring arrows, so I'm going to let it become a night for a couple of reasons. One, because we want to find another enderman to drop an ender pearl, which we will use to finally complete the portal to the end. The other is, in case skeletons spawn, we might be able to attack them with our looting sword and get some extra loot from that, be that extra arrows, more bones, or even a bow or two here and there. But in the meantime, we're going to start breeding up and killing some of these chickens to get feathers, because if worst comes to worst, we can always use the feathers, flint, and sticks recipe to craft some more arrows for ourselves. And I think with this looting sword, we may even, yes, be able to acquire more than one feather per chicken. So that will be kind of useful. But obviously I don't want to kill off the entire chicken population around here, so it is entirely possible that we will be breeding a lot of chickens today. There's a skeleton over there. Let's fight him. And let's keep an eye out around us, though, because there might be other stuff lurking in the forest now that we've let it become nighttime. One other reason I want to let it become nighttime is that I do want for us to finally encounter phantoms in this series. It's been a long time, and even though I've mentioned phantoms a few times, we have been sleeping so frequently that we have not had the chance to encounter phantoms in the wild. That will need to change, because one of the things I want to acquire is a potion of slow falling. We've covered potion brewing in other episodes, and you guys will probably know the score when potions are concerned, but you might not know all of the ingredients that make potions. And potions of slow falling are crafted using an item called Phantom Membrane, which, as you might guess, is only dropped by phantoms. So if we want to have a potion of slow falling for our fight with the dragon, which will make certain aspects of the fight a little bit easier, it will be important to get some Phantom Membrane this time. That skeleton over there is very well armored. Oh, and there's an enderman over there. Fantastic. All right, this might be our chance, folks. This might be the chance we have to grab ourselves our final ender pearl. Now, let me see if I can dig into the mountain here without this spider coming after me. Hello. All right, let's make a little dirt dugout here. And yep, that looks like the enderman is a decent distance away. And he's so far away that he's not even going to get aggro when we look at him. There we go. Looks like we've attracted his attention. He's going to warp over here and hopefully should end up right in front of this hole here. Yes, here we are. Oh, hello, friend. Come down here and get attacked. Let's see how many ender pearls we get, if any. Yes, we got one. Oh, no, two. Fantastic. It looked like one, but it was two. That should be enough, my friends. We should have enough. And once we get to the end, you will find that it is exclusively populated by endermen. So we will have no problem at all getting hold of additional ender pearls in future. Oh, gosh, I'm going to have to fight this guy one-on-one. I did not get back to my little dugout in time, but that's fine. We can take him on with the sword and shield. I'm pretty practiced at this by now. Just got to make sure that nothing else comes up and attacks us. Oh, that guy didn't even drop any. What a swine. No worries. No worries. Let's get rid of some of the other mobs around here, and let's keep hunting for skeletons so we get a few extra arrows. I'm looking for at least a stack so we can go into the dragon fight with a decent stack of arrows. You will do most of the damage to the dragon by attacking it with a sword, though, because part of the dragon's attack pattern is that it swoops down on top of the end portal, which we will explain once we actually get to the end, because I can't. It's kind of difficult to explain it if you haven't seen it. And it will swoop down on there, and it will protect the portal and spew fire or acid or whatever the stuff is that the dragon spews. It's purple, which is why I can't really identify quite what it is. But you can attack it with a sword or an axe or any kind of melee weapon at that point, so it will be entirely possible to do it that way. Oh, there's a skeleton over there, and while dawn is coming, whilst these skeletons are about to be set on fire, is probably a good time to press the advantage and attack. So let's take this guy out, see if we can get the looting in. Yes, there we go. Some more bones, some more arrows. Very good. But yeah, you'll do a lot of damage using a sword or an axe, so it's important to have one of those that is fully repaired. We probably won't do a great deal of projectile damage to it, but the projectiles are used for other things in the dragon fight, which we will explain once we get there. During the daylight hours, when we have a little bit more time to wait before night falls and we get another chance to encounter some hostile mobs, one of the things we want to do is harvest some wood, because we will need some wood for the fight. We will need some wood just generally. I'm running out of wood a little bit right now, but there will be a few things that we need wood for. Number one is ladders, because there are tall towers to climb in the end dimension when we're fighting the dragon, and we will need some wood to make those ladders. We'll also need wood for things like crafting tables and so forth if we end up traveling to the outer end islands after fighting the dragon on the central island, so we'll need to prepare for that eventuality as well. But yeah, like I said, right now I do kind of just need wood generally, so let's grab a little bit more of this. We will be able to turn a bunch of these into sticks and from there into ladders so that we can use those to climb the towers. We're also going to gather a little bit of stone, because having some kind of easy material to pillar up with is going to be great. We'll have some cobblestone or something around, and we'll be able to acquire a bunch of that nice and easily by going back down to our branch mine and doing a little bit more mining. And as always, it has the added bonus of potentially finding some rare resources, some diamonds and that kind of thing, because as you can see, some of my tools are in need of repair right now. And while we're down here in the branch mine, we shouldn't need too much more than about 2 stacks of cobble, I would say, at a guess, and that's really up to you. You don't really need to gather all of that material if you don't want to. It's just going to make the end fight a little bit easier. And it's also going to lead to us finding some diamonds, which is kind of lovely. Let's dig down here. Oh, looks like we've got a decent patch. Wonderful. Some folks have let me know that they'd like to see me breaking diamonds on camera a little bit more. So these are at 62, 10, 116. Help yourselves. Let's break these with the fortune pickaxe and see how many we get. Hopefully there's no lava around them. It looks like we only got 5 from that 4 vein. No worries though. At least we got more than we started out with. Fantastic stuff. Also gives us a little bit of experience in case we want to do any more enchanting. And enchanted gear is going to be useful for when you fight the dragon. To be honest, like I said, you can fight the dragon with more or less any amount of armor if you're careful, but I would recommend having decent armor. If not necessarily your diamond armor, if diamonds are too precious to you that you don't want to take your best gear into the dragon fight, because it is possible to lose that gear very, very easily during the dragon fight, then at least make sure you've got some fully enchanted iron armor. I think that's probably a safe bet for first timers if you want to fight the dragon. The main thing, I think, is to have some protection enchantments on your gear and feather falling on your boots, because it is possible for the dragon to throw you up very high into the air, and you don't want to come down from that and find that you don't have any feather falling and you've taken a whole heap of damage or possibly even died. So you want to make sure that you're fighting the dragon safely. Make sure you've got some feather falling available to you. And now we're down here in the mine. I've stumbled across one of the old ravines that we seem to have explored before, and also this is something else I've been looking for, a big old patch of gravel, and one that is not on the surface and is therefore not part of the landscape, so we don't have to disturb it just yet. Now gravel is going to be a very useful resource. As I mentioned, we're going to be crafting a lot of arrows for this, so it's probably a good idea to grind up some gravel and get one of these, which is flint. We will need a fair amount of flint to make as many arrows as we want. Now gravel is another one of the blocks that is affected by fortune enchantments, so I'm not going to do this the entire way around, because a pickaxe isn't the ideal tool for mining gravel, so it's going to take more durability than it should, but using Fortune 3 on a gravel block is a guaranteed way of getting flint. You will get flint every single time if you use a Fortune 3 tool on some gravel, and that includes a Fortune 3 shovel especially. So if you want loads and loads of flint, if you find yourself needing to craft a bunch of arrows, then having a Fortune 3 tool on hand is a good idea. Normally, I don't like to have Fortune 3 on my shovel. In fact, I use the opposite. I like to have Silk Touch on my shovel simply because normally I don't need to craft that many arrows, and having that much flint is overkill. I will never need to use that much flint, and you can't use flint for anything except crafting arrows and crafting flint and steel, so it isn't really that necessary, and I prefer to have gravel, which I can build with and convert into concrete and that kind of thing. But at this stage in the game, when we need to craft a bunch of arrows, having a decent supply of flint is going to be pretty essential. Now it looks like we've gotten ourselves a decent amount of cobblestone here. I will probably make my way back to the farmstead, and let's see if night has fallen and we can continue with our monster hunt. Perfect. Looks like the moon is rising, night is upon us, and we should be able to get a few more skeletons killed, maybe encounter a couple more endermen. We don't need to at this stage, but it will be a good way of demonstrating one other thing, because we're going to be encountering a lot of endermen in the end, and aside from not looking at them, which is going to be quite difficult when there are a lot of them around, there is one other way we can make sure that the enderman will not be a problem, and for that I will need a pair of shears. And hopefully, if I've left any of them up there, there should be a pumpkin patch nearby. Now, pumpkins aren't really used for all that much in the game, but they have a couple of very interesting properties. Now, you might have seen pumpkins looking like this if you've played any older versions of Minecraft, but recent versions of Minecraft pumpkins have the same texture on all four sides. Older versions of Minecraft had them looking like this. These are carved pumpkins, and there is a difference between pumpkins and carved pumpkins now, but you can just shear them in the real world and you'll get a carved pumpkin. And I'm going to go back inside to demonstrate this next bit because I don't want to get caught out by any hostile mobs which are out there. Carved pumpkins have something fairly unique among the vegetables in Minecraft in that this one can be placed on your head like a helmet. You can swap it out for a helmet like so, and as you can see, it changes your display, it changes your kind of field of view into a pumpkin shape. Now, obviously, if we go into third-person mode, you don't get that because you're looking at yourself from the outside, but it's a little bit difficult to control Minecraft in third person, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Another way you can get rid of that is to press F1, which actually removes every element of your heads-up display, but that also includes your hotbar and your right hand, or your main hand, I guess, because some people are left-handed, but you'll end up not being able to see absolutely anything, even though you can still interact with the world. You can still see the particles there from where I'm attacking this floorboard with my sword, but it's not the most effective way to fight. However, when you have a pumpkin on your head, like so, looking at Enderman has no effect. If you spot an Enderman out in the wild, or if you're looking at them in the end, it will not have any effect on you. The problem, of course, is that you you will still get attacked by other mobs, and it's kind of difficult to see with this pumpkin on your head. So it's something that is only really good to use in very dangerous situations, like when you're in the end and surrounded by Endermen. So to demonstrate, there's an Enderman right over there. You can see him because I'm zooming in using the Optifine zoom key, and it is not attacking me in any way when I look directly at it, simply because I'm wearing a pumpkin on my head, and I have to be very careful because I'm looking directly at this guy to demonstrate this, and oh, looks like he's even teleported away. So as you can see, the Enderman does not aggro on you if you've got a pumpkin on your head. Now, that makes no difference whatsoever if you actually attack the Enderman. If you attack him, he will become aggressive towards you and start attacking you back. So a pumpkin is not a complete kind of carte blanche. It's not a complete remedy to being attacked by Endermen. They will still attack you if you attack them first. However, it is a nice way of getting around the problem of looking at Enderman directly, which is something you may end up doing quite a lot when you visit the end. Now, my inventory is getting a little bit full here with all of the stuff we're collecting, so I think what I'm going to do is open up my Ender chest and start an Ender Dragon preparation kit. So that's where we're going to be placing a bunch of the stuff that we think we will need for the dragon fight. This carved pumpkin is going to go in there as our ward against Enderman. We're also going to put some spare arrows and so forth in there, and we might even bring some spare tools along with us, because in the eventuality that we die in the end, we might need to use some tools and so forth to get back to the end afterwards. Having now crafted a few arrows, I'm going to put maybe 32 arrows in there just as backups. We will save those. We've got a couple of stacks of eggs here in the chest, so let's bring a stack of those with us. 16 eggs can go in there, and we're making our way to the top of this nearby mountain to dig up some snowballs. Snowballs will stack to 16 just like eggs do, and you can get them just by shoveling the top layer of the snow here with a shovel of any kind. We'll put a stack of wood in there, maybe a little bit of coal as well, because we might need that for making additional torches. 2 stacks of cobblestone can go in there as well. And we are actually going to make a bed, although that's not going to be for fighting the dragon with, as I demonstrated earlier. It's actually going to be for setting our spawn point in the stronghold. That way, if we die in the end, we can simply respawn right by the end portal in the stronghold and hop back into the end to hopefully reclaim all of our tools. Now, my next concern is going to be food. As you can see, I'm running a little bit low on cooked mutton, and I think some beef would probably be a good idea. So it's time to breed and kill some of these cows. So once we have bred up a few of these cows, we're going to attack them with our looting 3 sword, and we should be getting a decent amount of beef from this, not to mention a decent supply of extra leather as well. It shouldn't be too bad, and we'll end up with maybe, I guess, 32 steak should be enough for this fight. We probably won't need too much more than that, so let's take out one more. I think 31 will probably do. We may even have some extra steak left over somewhere as well. Oh, this one got out. Maybe you can be 32. Haha, there we go. 35. All right, that's a perfectly good number. I think we'll go with that. One thing I would actually love to do is create another decent bow and see if we can get the infinity enchantment on it, because having infinity means, of course, that you don't need to worry about how many arrows you're using in the fight. You will just be able to fire arrows infinitely as long as you've got one in your inventory. So let's use our 30 levels, although let's quickly check that we don't get a book with a better enchantment. Power 4 would be okay, but we also potentially could get power 4 on this Unbreaking 3 bow. Let's drop it in and take our chances. Okay, power 4, Unbreaking 3 and punch 2. That's actually pretty good. That's better than the bow I've got right now. So I might swap to that one and leave this bow in my ender chest as a backup. We'll pop the lapis back in there as well. Oh, and actually, let's see if this has changed the... okay, not too bad. Okay, looks like we're just getting efficiency 4 on the book. Fair enough. I might end up using that enchantment later. But for now, like I said, this can go in here as a backup bow just in case we die, need to respawn and reclaim our bow. We can always use that one. Now, I think we will probably end up leaving the Fortune Pickaxe at home, at least for now. And this Smite 4 sword, I was considering combining with the Looting Sword, because if you combine things a certain way in an anvil, there are some enchantments that won't combine simply because they're not compatible. For example, Sharpness, being able to affect everything in terms of like the additional damage it deals, is different from Smite, which can only affect undead mobs but does a little bit more damage than your average Sharpness enchantment. So combining them with the Sharpness sword in the anvil first, and then adding that one, will remove the Smite enchantment, but we still get the Unbreaking 3 enchantment that's on this sword. Likewise, if we do it the other way round, you get a Smite 4 sword with Looting 3 and Unbreaking 3, but it removes the Sharpness. Personally, I like to stick with Sharpness as a good all-rounder, so I was considering combining these two swords at some point in future, but I'm going to wait to do that until the durability on this sword is down a lot more. That way it makes a little bit more sense to combine the two of them while the durability of this one is low. It counts as both a repair and as a combination of enchantments. And our third night is fast approaching, which should hopefully mean we encounter some phantoms. I'm going to run around a little bit off camera and fight a few more skeletons if I can, maybe even acquire a few more ender pearls if some endermen decide to come out to play, but I will bring you guys back in for the phantom attack so I can show you how to defend against them. Since it's nighttime and the moon is up, I figured I would come out here to the swamp and see if I could fight some slime as well, because slime is not something we've encountered all that often in this series. I did just see one through the trees a minute ago. I really hope he hasn't despawned, because during the night in a swamp is the only place you can find slime without digging down into caves and finding what is called a slime chunk. Slime chunks are pre-designated sections of the world where slimes can spawn at levels of Y40 and below, and it's actually very difficult to find them except by accident unless you have a mapping tool such as the ones we covered in previous videos like Amidst or Mine Atlas, which will show you where to find slime chunks in the world. And it seems like the slime who is over here has actually despawned now, so bad luck us, I'm afraid. Oh, there's another one over there, and there's also one of these. Hello, friend. All right, do I have any blocks on me? Let's quickly make some spruce logs. Okay, we have a zombie villager, and I am not going to kill this guy right away, just to see in case he can pick up any items. Now, we're leaving ourselves a little bit exposed here. Can you pick anything up? No, unfortunately, you can't. Right, well, it looks like we might have to kill him, but one of the things you can do with zombie villagers is actually cure them to turn them back into regular villagers, so it's entirely possible to trap them in a box like that, and if they are the type of zombie that can pick up items, which sometimes it is possible for zombies to do, then you can actually keep them in there for a while. If an entity is holding an item, if you've dropped something and a zombie picks it up, that zombie will not despawn, so it's entirely possible to keep hold of zombie villagers. Alternatively, you can name tag them, but I haven't got a name tag on me right now, and he would probably despawn if I went too far away and picked one up, so not to worry. Anyway, we got ourselves a slime, so that was worth having, and we will cover zombie villager curing and other mechanics of that nature in a future episode. And now it's raining. Of course it is. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get any phantom attacks that night. Maybe you actually have to spend 3 nights out in the open before phantom attacks will trigger on the 4th night, something like that. But anyway, it looks like we just didn't get lucky this night, so we'll have to spend another day just plodding around the overworld. I won't do too much off camera. I'm probably just going to go into the house and put some more of this stuff away. We've got an extra 32 plus 4 arrows, which is pretty good. I think that should be a decent amount. We might leave a few more arrows in the ender chest just so we've only got a single stack in our inventory taken up by arrows, but we're looking in pretty good shape right now. I think as far as things are concerned right now, we will be fighting the dragon in the next episode of this series. Well, it's still raining, which means no endermen, unfortunately. Endermen do not like to come out in the rain or step into water, so we won't find any more endermen today, but that's fine. I have 2 additional ender pearls from last night, and hopefully we should still see some phantom encounters this evening, so not to worry. I guess I'll run around collecting up eggs, fighting more skeletons and so forth, and we'll see what we do. Monster spawns are not dramatically reduced in the rain aside from endermen, so we will probably just have to keep our wits about us and see what happens. One thing you can take advantage of if you're specifically looking to encounter phantoms is the fact that phantoms will appear regardless of what light level it is around you, whereas other mobs will only appear if there is a light level of 7 or lower. So if you place lots of torches around your base, you're still going to get phantoms swooping down at you from the sky occasionally, but you won't find other monsters getting into the mix and causing problems for you while you're phantom hunting. So bear that in mind. It's a useful trick to have if you're just looking to encounter phantoms like we are right now. That is the telltale sound of a phantom attack. There we go. Here they are. And it's actually going to be a little bit difficult to fight them in the rain because they will be less visible, but you can see them floating up there in the sky. Fantastic stuff. All right, they should swoop down and we can attack them with a sword. Usually it's a little bit more effective to attack them with a bow and arrow, but if you've got good enough reflexes, you should be able to hit them on the head right as they reach you. They move quite slowly until they swoop, so you should have enough time to protect yourself, and make sure you look out for the Phantom Swoop subtitles or the telltale sounds, and you should be able to get them pretty easily. Let's see if that last one will come down and take a shot at me. We've got 5 Phantom membranes already, which is going to be more than enough for what we need. There we go, just one more hit and we should be good. Let's throw an egg at him. There you go. Get out of here. Come on then. Looks like he's bouncing off the roof of the house. There we go. One more swoop and dealt with. Fantastic. Is there more phantoms around? It's ever so likely that one of them might have spawned while we're attacking these ones. Nope. Looks like we're fine, and with the sun coming up soon, you can guarantee that these guys would burn in the sunlight anyway, because they technically count as undead mobs, so that should be no problem at all. But look at that! From 3 phantoms, we got 9 phantom membrane. That feels absurdly lucky to me. I'm very happy about it. And now, before the sun comes up completely, I'm actually going to sleep in my bed, holding the phantom membrane as a sign of our victory. But we're going to clear up the rain that way, so it will be good. Reset our insomnia counter. That's the thing that causes the phantoms to spawn, and get rid of that rain. Now, I've got 3 awkward potions already brewed up in here. I've put the nether wart in here already, so we can just drop a phantom membrane in here, and what we'll get from that is 3 potions of slow falling. A little bit of redstone dust to increase the duration of the slow falling potion, a little bit of gunpowder to make it a splash potion that we can use at a moment's notice, and I think we should be good. One other thing you could take into battle against the Ender Dragon, if you have them, are golden apples. You should be able to craft these using 8 gold ingots and a single apple, and you can find them in dungeon chests and stuff as well, so they are not quite as rare as you might think. And golden apples are not only a great source of food, they will also apply a regeneration effect to you for a short amount of time, meaning that if you need to regenerate health, that's a very good thing to have on you. So we might include those in our little cache of food that we have here. I killed a few more cows to get some more steak, so we have a decent amount of steak now, and I think along with these splash potions of slow falling and maybe even a splash potion of swiftness, we have more than enough that we need to take on the dragon. So I think that's actually going to be it for this episode, folks. In the next episode, we will be heading to the stronghold and we are going to take on the Ender Dragon. I hope you guys will look forward to that one. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. My name has been Pixlriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on the episode if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.